you. I mean, you can't just decide that you want to be a coach if you've never played the sport. So it'd be kind of like me wanting to become a scientist, and I'm not good in science, Robert. You know, I just think that anything that you do in life, a lot of you young people, you're trying to just determine what it is that you want to be. I'm going to tell you how you can figure it out.
Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. Welcome to my channel. You're in for a treat today. You definitely don't want to miss this guy. His name is Coach Steve Hudson. He's a former head coach at colleges, multiple colleges. And not just that, he's still coaching at a time when he should be retiring. But anyway, you don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. Coach, welcome to my home here today.
Thank you, Robert. Glad to be here.
I know that you've driven a long way from the state of Texas to be here today. On your way to your hometown in Colgate, Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, thank you for stopping by and being able to share this great moment with me and, of course, with my audience here. You know, if you would, Coach, tell me everyone a little bit about yourself. Where you come from? Where did you grow up at? Okay. And how did you end up being in coaching?
Okay. I grew up in Colgate, Oklahoma, as you mentioned, and graduated in 1970. Played basketball for 2 years at Eastern Oklahoma State Junior College, and then transferred to Oklahoma Baptist University, where I had my second knee surgery and prevented me from playing my last 2 years. So I got on an accelerated schedule and graduated and got my undergraduate in 3 years, and then had an opportunity. Jerry Anderson, who was the head basketball coach at East Central, he offered me a graduate assistantship, so I went to East Central 73, 74. Back in those days, there was no women's basketball in college in Oklahoma, so we had a JV team, so I had 19, 20-year-olds, and I was 21. And I had one young man who was back from the military, and his name was Clay Johnson. Clay was 28 years old.
I remember Clay. Used to be my next door neighbor at one point.
Oh, my goodness. So I told Clay after the first meeting with the team, I said, Clay, you don't have to call me coach, you can call me Steve. He said, nope, you're my coach. He said, I'm calling you coach. So it was a very good experience. And so after getting my master's, my first head job, I went to Oklahoma City Northeast High School. And I was there from 1974 to 1980 and had 3 teams to make the Oklahoma State tournament. So it was a real good experience. I really enjoyed it. In 1980, I was hired as an assistant coach at Oklahoma Baptist University and under Bob Banfield, and worked there from 1980 to 83. So had an opportunity to go to Wingate, North Carolina as the head basketball coach in 1984. Went to Wingate for 4 years. And then my wife and I are both from Oklahoma, so got the itch to get closer to home, so we came back and I head coach at Panhandle State University from 1988 to 1991. And then had an opportunity. John McLeod was the newly hired head coach at the University of Notre Dame, and Coach McLeod had recruited me at Colgate when I was in high school. And I had stayed in touch with him, and he offered me a chance to be one of his assistants at Notre Dame. Hold
on now, Coach. Hold on. Now, everyone knows John McLeod.
Yeah.
Because he was the head coach for the Phoenix Suns in the NBA for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Now, you mean to tell me he recruited you out of high school?
Yes, until I blew my knee out, and then he told me I could be a walk-on.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I attended Eastern, played 2 years over there under Don Brown, and played on 2 great teams. We were 48 and 20 in my 2 years at Eastern, and played with 2 junior college All-Americans, and then later Ozzie Edwards was an NCAA All-American at Oklahoma City University. So that was a great experience as well.
You know, that's the life of a coach. You know, in order to grow and advance and get ahead and find that right niche, you know, that right job.
Yeah.
You know, that's just part of the process.
Yes, sir.
As being a coach. But from what I'm hearing here, you've had some pretty good opportunities.
Yes, I had some very good opportunities. And after Notre Dame, which was a one-year job, Coach McLeod said if somebody ahead of me moves on, that he would move me up. But all those guys, they all stayed. So he said, I'll get you a job somewhere else. And he did. I went to Arkansas State University as a full-time assistant after I left Notre Dame, and I was there for 2 years. And then they had a coaching change, so when the head coach leaves, assistants are out looking for a job too. So at that time, I had a great opportunity to go to Richardson High School in North Dallas there, a 6A school, as a head coach. And I served there from 1995 to 2001. And it was real competitive. We played all the Plano schools, the Richardson schools, Lake Highlands, Berkner, Pierce, and then we also had Rockwall and Allen in our district. So it was really, really tough. It was very good.
Well, you were down in that region. You were talking 6A too, no doubt.
Yeah, it's good basketball. And then I ran out of talent, Robert, and I didn't want to go through 2 or 3 bad years, so I changed ship and I took a job at Norman High School. And Norman, and I coached there.
That's Norman, Oklahoma.
And then moved on to Tulsa East Central and coached in Tulsa for 2 years. And then started seeing my retirement, the difference in my retirement money in Texas and Oklahoma. And so I got back to Texas. And I went down back to Skyline High School as an assistant under J.D. Mayo, who's a legend in Texas high school basketball. And I worked under J.D. For a while, and then actually came back to Oklahoma for 2 years and helped Bob Banfield, and we coached these Sand Springs girls, and we went to the state tournament my second year. And that was my only 2 years I ever coached girls, but it was a really good experience. And then I went into retirement 5 years ago. Had 4 surgeries and cancer during these last 5 years, and so I couldn't have coached if I'd wanted to. And then a good friend, Chris Crutchfield, became the new head coach at East Central last year, and he offered me the opportunity to come, and so I assisted Chris this year, and this is my 37th year of coaching basketball.
Wow. Now, of course, Coach Crutchfield is now leaving to take a job at the University of Oregon.
Yes, you know, it's kind of shocked everybody because he has 2 sons, and they're staying at East Central, and he came there, you know, because he wanted to coach his sons. But he's an associate head coach at Oregon. He's not an assistant. I mean, he's associate head coach, which means it pays more, and it also helps you in landing a head Division I job yourself.
Yes.
So it gives him more credibility.
Now, he did come from Arkansas, didn't he?
Yes, he was an assistant at Arkansas, where he's now the associate head coach at University of Oregon.
You know, I want to thank you, too, because when you asked me if I could come to East Central and, you know, the opportunity to possibly even speak to the team, and the last home game this year, and gave me an opportunity to speak before the team went out on the court.
Yeah.
Man, I got so fired up. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, I don't know what you saw in me to even ask me that, but I thank you for that.
Yes,
really
sir.
do.
You're a former Tiger. Once a Tiger,
always a Tiger. That's right. We don't know what others see in us, but we do know what we see in them, don't we? And I say that because Coach Hudson saw something in me that led me to Coach Crutchfield. And the thing about it, I like to say this, I saw something positive in him as well, and I thank you for that, Coach. Well, all of you are winners. Go back to your homeland from your high school where you come from, you're all winners. And by just being here, you're a winner. Because the majority of people that play high school ball don't get to play college basketball on any level. I like to consider myself a winner because I didn't quit. And when you guys get old someday, like these guys right here and myself, all the heartache, all the pain, all the fight, and want to quit and everything else, you're going to look back on it, hey, it was all great. And you be thinking, if I can do it one more time, I don't care how hard it was. One more time. Yeah, of course, we know we got to get your education, but you come here also this program to enhance this program, and you got to win. And we're talking about everybody want to play offense, right? Everybody want to shoot that pill, right? Who want to get down and play some defense? Who want to get down and go get that board off gas? Who want to be able to stop your opponent? That's what's going to win the game. If you're 30 pounds bigger than you, you go get that ball. You don't turn that ball over. You protect that ball. You go to that glass, because what? That's a choice. No one can stop you from going to get that glass. Go get that ball. Get down and stop your opponent. Play some defense, because what? Offense is going to take care of itself. Why? You all want to score. Coach, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, thank you, man.
And I can say this, guys, I'm so happy to be here. You just don't know. I used to be I think they moved around. My locker was over here. And if I could just come back one more time, I feel like I'm a part of this team. And I'm just meeting most of you for the first time. I know some of you. And I could say, if I could just get one thing out of you guys, do me one favor, because I am fired up, and I'm going to be watching you guys. Coach, do you mind? Would you mind? If we could holler just one time, give me that feel. Give me that feel. One time.
Bring it up. Bring it up then. Bring it up.
Baby. Tiger on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Tiger!
And you know what? And you said, when you were at OBU, Oklahoma Baptist University, that was my senior year too.
Yep.
That, you were there when we played against you guys.
Sure did.
Now, Coach, you just mentioned something here that I didn't know. And I'm sure a lot of people that's watching this right now that are experiencing this or in the future may experience this, because I've experienced it with my wife. She's in her, going on, I believe, 11th year being cancer-free. Mm-hmm. And you just said that, 5 years now?
Yes, in 2000, now 6 years now. In 2015, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Mm-hmm. And, but we caught it early, and so I had the radiation treatments, did no chemo, and had radiation, 45 treatments, Robert.
45?
Yeah, 9 weeks, 5 times a week. And so I just, this past year, met the 5-year criteria. They say after 5 years, if you haven't had a recurrence, then you're cancer-free. So that was nice to know that I passed that test.
Yes, yes.
So that's all in the rearview mirror and just looking forward.
For those men out there that probably should go to the doctor but refuse to do so for whatever reason, what would you have to say to them?
Hey, go to the doctor. Do your annual physical, and it's really you get your PSA number, mm-hmm. and as long as you have done it from year to year, they can catch it early. And mine was stage 2. And
mm-hmm.
Here's the thing I learned about prostate cancer is that it is highly treatable. Cure rate's very high, but it's also the second leading cause of death in men from cancer, because so many men will not get their annual checkup.
Right.
So by the time they catch it, it may be stage 4, and then you're looking at 3-4 years of life, and that's all you have left.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for that.
Yes,
and
yeah.
That is a public announcement right there.
Yes, sir.
For those of you, listen to what he just said, because it is important. And I too get my annual checkups. My PSA scores, and right now I'm still in the range. But I notice it has gone up a little bit, Coach. I see, like, as I'm aging here, it's gone up a little bit, but I'm going to stay on top of it, and thank you for that.
Yes.
But Coach, let me ask you something. For those that want to become a coach, an educator, what are the requirements for that? Well,
number one, it's got to be something that just comes natural to you. I mean, you can't just decide that you want to be a coach if you've never played the sport. So it'd be kind of like me wanting to become a scientist, and I'm not good in science, Robert. So you got to have some kind of aptitude to play the game and be interested in the game. And then, of course, the requirements, you've got to get a college degree. You need to have a teaching field because very few young men come out of college and get to go right to a college career. You're going to have to coach in high school. And personally, I enjoyed my 24 years of coaching high school. I had a blast. And so the teaching majors is so good to get something other than physical education because there's only one PE job in the school.
Mm-hmm. Or history.
Well, you know, there's 5 or 6 history teachers.
Oh, no doubt about that.
There's only one PE teacher. So, you know, and then if you get it in science or math, then you're in high demand.
Yes.
So, and computer literacy as well. Yeah.
You know, often, you know, when I was coming up, it was always, you know, PE or history, you know, far as coaching is concerned. And matter of fact, I ended up, you know, as far as my certification teaching field was in history and PE. But I'm glad I didn't go into coaching because I found what I was really looking for and that I didn't even know existed. Yeah. And it was the greatest thing ever happened to me. But I'm still into coaching in a sense because one of my closest friends is a coach, as you know, Jeff Coleman.
Yes, yes.
And so we talk basketball all the time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I guess if I wanted to coach, I could jump right in right now because Coach Cobb is still in me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, Coach, I'll tell you what. You know, you have had a tremendous career. You have gone through all the different levels, you know, from high school to college. And you know all the coaches from all around on every level, you know. And what a career.
I've really been blessed, Robert. Just, you know, when opportunities came, I took them. And it was an interesting career.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, you've lived your dream.
Yes, I did.
How many people get to do that, really? Think about it. Yeah. How many people actually get to live their dream?
Yeah. You know, Robert, I remember I was in the 6th grade, and we had a practice teacher coming out of East Central that came to the elementary school. We had no elementary basketball team, but he was going to be a teacher coach, and he wanted to coach a team. So we had the 5th and 6th grade kids, and it was my 6th grade season. And we, only time we could get to the gym was 6 in the morning. You talking about a blast. And to go over and have some guy work with you and yell at you and run you and work you out. I mean, we felt like we were high school stars, you know. And so one day I was talking to him and I said, Coach, I said, this is sure making you to get up early. I'm sorry you have to get up so early to come do this, you know, on your job. And I asked him, I said, well, he said, well, you know, this is something I'm planning because I'm going to be a coach and a teacher and I'll get paid. And I turned to him, I said, you mean you get paid for coaching basketball? He said, yes, I'll get paid. And I said, right then I decided I was not only going to be a coach, I was going to be a basketball coach when I was 11 years old. So yes, I definitely lived my dream.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Because here's something that you do for free and you're getting paid for it.
Exactly.
Something you love.
Speaking of free, I did it for free this year too, Robert. Being at East Central again, and I'm a volunteer assistant. And so yeah, I love the game, and it was really a great experience. Yeah.
Well, Coach, but you already retired anyway.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
2 times, different states?
Yes. Yeah.
But I tell you what, it's a joy that you're here today. I always enjoy your energy. You know, you're just a positive guy to me.
Well, thank you.
And you always have that smile. You know,
Well,
you've got great energy.
Yeah.
But Coach, in today's time, you know, you see what's going on today, how athletics been. You know, we've had, you know, the shutdown and things are opening back up, and, you know, and what do you have? What are your thoughts about that as far as players preparing? You know, because I found that it seemed like it can be a little challenging, you know, where guys want to try to make it to the next level when we have this pandemic that's been going on. But things opening back up right now.
Yeah, finally. You know, this was really rough on the kids. It's one thing being a coach, going through this, we were tested 3 times a week, all year long, as were the players. But as a college basketball player, one of the exciting things about it is being able to play in front of large crowds.
Yes, yes.
And I felt so bad for the kids this year because, they did all that hard work, getting in shape, practicing every day. And we had no fans whatsoever until the last 3 weeks of the season. And then the conference, the Great American Conference, then allowed up to about 50 people. So we didn't have 800 people watching.
Yeah,
and
to feel that energy.
Yeah, we had 50 at the most. And, there were no cheerleaders, there was no band, there was no fans. And it was really a challenge to get people ready to go and have a positive experience. Now, once the game started, then you just competed and you didn't think about the fans. But warming up, it was pretty unusual.
Can't look in the crowd and see who's out there. You better jump a little higher,
Some cardboard cutouts. That's what was out there. Yeah.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, like I said, it's a joy that you're here, and I appreciate you coming and sharing this information because, there are kids out there, there are young adults out there, and there are maybe even teachers that may be looking to change careers or maybe get into coaching. And just hearing what you're sharing with us, that's wisdom, and that's gold. Because if a person can just take one thing from what you just said, just one nugget, what difference that could make in their life.
Yeah, I think the coaching is even harder today than when I got into it 47 years ago. There's with the social media, there's so much criticism, and it seems like that people don't want to wait their turn. College freshmen, if they don't play immediately, then they get unhappy. And even in high school, high school kids transferring, if you live within a city where you can go to another high school, they don't want to overcome any obstacles. They just want to go and see if they can go somewhere else. And so they found that the grass is not always greener on the other side.
How true.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How true.
So I think that kids should hook up and make a commitment to a school and then work for that opportunity. If you want, you shouldn't just go for the coach anyway. You should go for the university and to get your degree, because basketball is going to be over and your whole life is going to be basically mandated by your career if you have a degree or not.
Yes. What you just said, we've seen this so often where guys go off and play college basketball or football, whatever the sport may be, and once their 4 years are up, they're done. They go back home or whatever, and they're so close, just a few hours from graduating, but instead they go back home. I've seen so many guys, Coach, that did not get their degree. It was just all sports, and when that was over, they were done. I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Oh yeah, and this is one good thing about COVID, because this year did not count against their eligibility.
Really?
So all the kids, if you were a senior this year or you were a junior, you're still going to be the same classification next year. And so this way for seniors, maybe now they're a 5th-year senior, there's no excuse in why they don't have their degree by having gone to school 5 years. So it's going to get more kids opportunities to finish their degree on scholarship.
So, but what about playing? I mean, for as playing eligibility. So the COVID time didn't restrict them from that at all?
No.
So they still have the same eligibility?
Yes, because some schools we only played 19 games. Some schools only played 10 games or 8 games.
Yes.
So yeah, there are a few schools that played 27, 28 games, but very few. We had 3 games canceled this year. Fortunately, only one of COVID, but then the terrible ice storm, we lost 2 games. So, yeah, it's really a bonus. But it was nice that the NCAA did something positive for a change for the student athletes.
Yes.
And so, yes, We had one senior this year who is able to graduate in this month, coming up in May, and he's getting married in June and got a job already lined up, so he's not going to come back and take advantage of it. But so many kids, they need the 5th year to get that degree anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a big asset for their career.
Mm. Yeah. That's awesome. That was gold.
That's
because
gold.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this, they didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Coach, I tell you this, we're about to wrap up here. You know, if there's anything that you would like to share with America, because this is not just Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Social media is worldwide.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and not just that, Coach, when we're no longer here, this conversation we're having, it's going to live out there on the web forever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, so if there's anything that you would like to share with America about anything, I'm going to give you that moment. And if you would, please look directly in that camera and talk to America.
You know, I just think that anything that you do in life, a lot of you young people, you're trying to just determine what it is that you want to be. I'm going to tell you how you can figure it out. Number one, find out what you really are good at. Everybody's good at something. So find out your vocation by what your talent allows you to do. And then secondly, what it is that you really like to do. And if you enjoy something, just in my case, coaching basketball for 47 years and teaching, it was an enjoyment. It wasn't like a job. It was a career. And there's a big difference in a job and a career. You don't want to work flipping burgers or working construction or pipeline. After a while, your body's going to wear down. So find something, and you don't have to have a college degree necessarily to find a good career, particularly in this day with the computer age and all the opportunities that are available to do that. So I would just say find out what you really like and something that you're good at and follow that dream, and you'll be happy in a working career. And to conclude that, I want to say that I really believe that if you also find Jesus in your life, and follow the teachings of the Bible and try to serve God, that you will be a lot happier person as you go through this journey called life.
Yes.
So we all go through ups and downs, and it's not always easy, but if you keep your focus on Jesus Christ, you will never be left by yourself. Thank you.
Amen to that, Coach, and thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And from the audience, thank you. Okay, Coach Hudson, you mentioned to me about some people that you once coached that went on and have had very good, we're talking national, international careers. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, Robert, thank you. In 1991-92, I was hired at the University of Notre Dame under John McLeod, the legend NBA coach with the Phoenix Suns. And one of our players was a man named LaFonso Ellis. And LaFonso went on to have a 12-year NBA career. He got his degree from the University of Notre Dame, coming from a very tough background, being born and raised in East St. Louis by a single mom. So really proud of his career, and of course now you can turn on during basketball season and see LaFonso as one of the commentators on ESPN. And he's had a very successful career. And then secondly, in 1981, I went to the Bronx in New York City to get a big man, and I found a young kid named David Simmons. And David played for us at OBU and then finished playing at Oklahoma City University. And I've been friends with David through all these years. And in 2008, I went to Australia where he was playing pro ball, and I got to meet this young 12-year-old kid named Ben Simmons. And I knew Ben was going to be good, but not in my wildest dreams. I think he would be the #1 pick, which he was in 2016. and later has been named to the All-Star game, been picked on the first team all-defense the last 2 seasons, and the 76ers right now are one of the favorites to win the NBA title this year. So it's been neat following his career since I recruited his dad to Oklahoma Baptist University. When I was 9 years old, my dad took his 2 weeks vacation 4 years in a row to Phoenix, Arizona. And it was I was in elementary school, and you're talking about a kid in baseball heaven going to watch these major league players and getting the autographs of guys such as Ernie Banks, Willie McCovey, Orlando Cepeda, Juan Marichal, Willie Mays. It was just an awesome experience. And so one day my dad told me, he said, Stevie, I want you to go down and get that gentleman's autograph behind the dugout. And I turned to him, I said, that old man? He said, yes. So my one and only conversation, I go up and I said, sir, for some reason my daddy sent me down here to get your autograph. And he patted me on the head. He said, no problem, Sonny. I still remember that. And he signed the ball, and the signature was Ty Cobb, and he dated it 3/31/61, and that's a treasure I still have to this day. And Ty Cobb died in July of '61, so there's not very many Ty Cobb autographed baseballs out there. So that was quite a thrill as well.
Coach, that's a valuable signature there.
Well, you think it'd be worth more. I've been offered $22,000, and it's worth more to me just to keep it. So I've never sold it.
If someone want to give you $22,000 for it, someone will be willing to give you $2 million for it.
You know, there are individual collectors, and I just haven't really pursued that. But yeah, there's Ty Cobb collectors that would give more money, obviously. But things are okay, so I don't need to sell it.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for that.
Thank you.